Hey guys, Shane here. Thanks for joining me again. Tonight is another stove talk. I will be doing a live feed on one side, and I will be doing a YouTube feed per se on the other side. And tonight we're going to be discussing the Biolite stove. So if that's what you're into, join me and let's do this, guys. Thanks for coming along. Take care. Alrighty, well, I'm about 3 or 4 minutes late. I know I'm not too bad. So welcome to another episode of Stove Talk. This is episode 2. For those of you guys who've not joined us before on the Facebook Live, I'm also doing this on YouTube, and those who have not watched the other video, Stove Talk 1 on YouTube, I'm doing a Facebook Live also. So, let's get into it. I had sent out a video or a video link on Facebook, and basically I had said, hey Chris, how's it going? Basically I had said, you know, what tonight's discussion was going to be over. It's going to be over the Biolite. This is the Biolite cook stove that I'm using here. So, I'll show you guys. Give you a little bit of a background information on Biolite themselves. They started kind of fooling around with stoves back in 2006, and in about 2008, 2009 era, they went to a combustion conference, and they found out that their little stove that was creating electricity, or helped create electricity and charging, was actually very beneficial. In fact, it was so beneficial that half of the world lives in what they call electronic or electric poverty, and Biolite was able to produce stoves like this that could produce electricity, a small amount of voltage, just enough to maybe charge a phone, charge a light, and so that's kind of where they really took off, where they've kind of found their mold. Now, as far as, hey Craig, what's going on, man? As far as backpacking stoves go, I think it's pretty awesome, honestly. It is light, and I'll show you guys about how big it is compared to an Nalgene bottle. Okay, a lot of people always say, oh, that's a huge stove. Hey Mike, how's it going, man? It's a huge stove. Well, not really. I mean, most people carry a Nalgene bottle on them, and it's really not that much heavier than an empty Nalgene bottle. So I'll put this down here on my shelf for now. So let me go over with you guys real quick how this thing goes together, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. These legs are really cool. If you've never used one before, which I hadn't, I keep my my blower, my fan and motor assembly in a bag, so I don't want it to get full of stuff. And you noticed on the inside I keep the cardboard. So, alright, so anywho, there's a little blower port right there. This thing just clips it underneath here, like that. And then when you open up the leg, it locks it in. So let's talk about why this is a good thing, right? For one, for me, I don't live in electrical or power poverty. I actually use a backup charger almost everywhere I go. So for me to use the Biolite with the blower that charges your electronics, that wasn't something that was for me. Okay, it wasn't appealing to me, so I went with this. This was $100 when I bought it. I saw on Amazon this was on sale for $59, and then I saw it also on a bunch of other websites for like 75 bucks. But right here it tells you how much battery life you got left, and then when you click it over there, you've got your different modes. If you keep it on low, you're looking at like a 30-hour blow. That's pretty awesome. So Did Craig Whitelock just say that Scotch was what was up? So anyway, for me, I didn't need the backup charger. I didn't need to charge anything else because I was already carrying other backup chargers with me. This thing has been pretty awesome, honestly. You guys, if you did watch the video where I went out and I did kind of a trial run on this and a test run on this, you guys would have seen that I dropped it. I even put it here so I wouldn't. You guys saw that this stove itself, okay, it's got just a wonky top. It's got a funny top. And if you were to use, well, here, we'll pick up this. This is the Kettle One from Snow Pea. It fits pretty decent on there. You know, it's empty right now, so it's going to fit weird. But it fits pretty decent on there. But I showed in my video, I used a canteen. Let me reach over here and grab one. I used a canteen. Now the canteens have a peanut-shaped bottom on them. So, this is Keegan's canteen kit. Mine is in my mother setup, and that's in the car, ready to go. So, the canteen has a peanut bottom, peanut-shaped bottom. And it does not fit on top of the Biolite very easily, okay? It's kind of weird. I mean, you could probably get it to work, but once you had, you know, anything in there, even tea, coffee, anything, you're probably going to spill it. And not only that, but you're going to kill it. You know, if you're trying to get any type of air in there other than what it's sucking out, you're going to end up putting it out. So, what I did, I was at the grocery store, and I have this little bad boy right here. This is a vegetable steamer. Okay, it has a little stand on there so it can set up, and it can steam from the bottom, all that good jazz. But it was really cool. I paid like $7 for it, $6. But there's these little, I don't know if you can see them right here, there's little marks on them on the inside of the Biolite. When I was at the store, I remembered these marks and I thought they might line up with that. And in fact, they do. They line up wonderful. So the cool thing is about this is I'm able to open it up like that and put my canteen on top of there, or I could probably put more than one canteen on there, 2 canteens. But the cool thing about this was this was very shocking for me when I was outside because it actually worked. And when does anything ever really truly work out for you like that? I mean, 1 in a million, right? So you can go to their website, you can go to the Biolite website, and you can pick up, which is it's actually an adapter that can go on top of here. But you know what? Did it start to glow? It did a little bit, and that's all right because you know what? It kept its shape, so I'm all right with that if it started to glow. I haven't tried. I haven't tried the adapter. Mike Vigil says that he has the adapter. I haven't tried it. Does it lock in as good as the steamer? Mike? So we'll see what he says. He says yes. Yes, it does. It probably uses those same tabs, doesn't it? Figured. It fits nicely and adds the grill. Yeah, that's another thing you can do with this is you can actually add the grill. So from a non-power, poverty-stricken person, for somebody who's purely using this for, that's right, Hy-Vee, somebody who's truly using this for enjoyment because I love stoves, I think it's wonderful. I had said in my video before that I also thought that it was a really good option to bring bike packing because if you put it on a slow burn, you're getting 30 plus hours. Even if you get a 10 hours worth of burn on this thing, with it being on high, I don't see a problem with that at all. I mean, it's not like I'm going to cook for 10 hours straight on a 2-day trip. If you're cooking 10 hours straight for a 2-day trip, I want to join you because you're going to have some awesome food. But I really, really have enjoyed it. Let's see here. I went to the Loess Hills State Forest with my kids, and I ended up cooking bacon and eggs with this thing. And one thing that I had to learn about this really quick is it is a rocket stove, essentially, and it burns super, super fast and super hot. So I was very shocked with this, and I was actually very shocked with the speed of this stove. You know, and I'm going to be honest with you, because when I actually got in contact with the folks over at Biolite, and I wasn't trying to be rude to them, but I told them that I thought that the charger was a little bit gimmicky. And that's when I found out that the purpose of why they had the chargers. And then once I realized that they were actually helping to light, you know, the poverty-stricken people, it was absolutely amazing. You know, they've actually branched out even more, and now they're doing lights, they're doing solar panels, and they have their big cook stove, which is really, really nice. But, you know, for most of us, we don't live in a society where we're needing electricity. I mean, or where we're very low on it. I mean, we're using our phones, our cameras for God knows what. But, I mean, if you take a step back and you think about it, if you're going to cook your food, which you're going to do anyway, and you can give your components a cell phone, because, you know, people do have cell phones to communicate with other people, that's a needed necessity. Or, I mean, you know, if there's anything that somebody would need medically that needs to be charged up, that's another good option. So when you start to look outside of the box of, oh, that's bulky, I wouldn't carry that in my pack, or that's, you know, gimmicky like I thought, I don't know, it's kind of cool. So I really enjoyed that. So I wanted to touch base a little bit on that. And I also said last week that I was going to talk about companions, stove companions, because that's something that I think we all always kind of float around, our others options and companions. And I showed you guys my mother canteen last week, and I showed you the kitchen that I have in it, or the kitchen, but the necessities that I use for my camp kitchen and all that stuff. And I know I had told some of you guys, you know, that there are other options out there. So what I really wanted to do is I wanted to show you all another option. This is Dorian's canteen. He likes the old school canteen, U.S. military issue canteen bottle. This is another good option. I mean, if you can't, or if you want to use a canteen and you're not quite to the point, it's a little back heavy. If you're not quite to the point of being able to afford, you know, a heavy cover canteen kit, or another one of those options out there, this is something that's really good to start with. This is something that I had started out with, and in fact, this is my original canteen cup. So let me break into this a little bit and show you guys another option of a stove companion that you could that you can use or have. I am a fan of using the canteen, obviously. Most of you guys know that. So, but this is from One Tigris, and I picked it up for, I think, $25. I think it's what it cost me. It's kind of cool on the side here. It says One Tigris, and then when you flip the tag over, it says Into the Wild. So that's kind of cool. I have a cat somewhere up there meowing at me. That's weird. So anyway, plenty of room. When I pull out the canteen bottle, or the canteen, there's plenty of room in here. Now if you look, one thing this doesn't have, which I didn't see camo, Mike, What you have a mother, but you can never have one, right? You always have to have more. Anyway, so there is still plenty of room in here for a spork. This is Dorian's Optimus spork that he likes, and it's titanium. And then the lid. This is from the Pathfinder. It's just a stainless steel lid, but it all does fit really, really good. Now this is the stainless steel canteen cup with the butterfly handles on there. I have another one in here, which this is Dorian's other smaller canteen kit with the Wildew in it, the Wildew canteen bottle, but that bottle is a little bit smaller. So, but anyway, yeah, this is just another option, and and Craig also, you guys, everybody in the group I think has the Mother canteen kit. But this is for the other people who don't have it, or the people who really do adore it and want to use it and want to see the significance of using it, but yet they're not quite ready to take that plunge. Because, let's face it, guys and girls, things can be expensive. You know, it can definitely be expensive. And you don't have to do it all in one shot. You can grow your kit. And that's kind of what I did. And then my kids have also got to grow through their kits as well. Okay, so here's the One Tigris Canteen kit, right? And here is, that's usually tucked in that little piece of banding right there. And this is the Molly 2 canteen pouch. Now you see the difference in them. They're actually made extremely similar, with the Molly on the back as well. Now the Molly on the back, this says One Tigris on it, on the snaps. This obviously doesn't say anything on that. But I actually like the One Tigris just a little bit more. The pockets all seem to be the same size. They're made almost identical. Material feels the same. But oh, how much for both? This was 25 bucks. This was like 12 bucks at the surplus store, Craig. It was not expensive. But here's the thing. What this one does not have is what this one has. For one, this one has deeper pockets here, and it has latches. Okay? Deeper pockets and latches. For the deeper pockets, you can keep things like an emergency knife sharpener, whistle, ferro rod mix thing in there, an extra lighter, a fire starter. But here's the deal. You struggle to get Esbit in these little pouches. So this is lacking the bottom straps here. Very similar to something somebody would want to use if they wanted to use, you know, say a mother, if they were eventually wanting to go into that. Or if maybe that's just not your thing and this is more your style. 25 bucks for my son Dorian was well worth it. And Han from One Tigris made sure that I got this before Christmas, and that was cool. So cheers to you, Han, for making that happen. 25 bucks well spent. Oh, you thought that was a granola bar at first? That's a fire starter, man. These things are called Zip fire starters. They are awesome. In the cold, wet weather, pick them up at Walmart. They're like $8, or no, $5 for a box, and I couldn't tell you right now, right offhand, how many comes in a box. So, but it didn't come with the strap. The strap actually came from a another bag that I have from where did I get the bag from? Condor. It's Condor pouch. So, anyway, guys, I don't know. Does anybody in the chat have any more questions? Hey, Raphael, what's going on, man? It's not a bad price. It really isn't a bad price at all. I would say that we're probably going to ended up cutting it short because I talked about the Biolite. I talked about another stove companion, and I don't want to run this video on like I did with the previous video. Next week, what we're going to talk about is I'm going to start talking about the bigger stoves. You guys know I like my firebox, I like my Bushcraft Essentials. So next week, what I'm going to start with is the Bushcraft Essentials, because Bushcraft Essentials, this stove right here was the very first wood stove, like actual wood stove that my wife bought me. So I think that it would just, you know, be good to start with this stove. And so I'll start with the Bushcraft Essentials stoves in general. And I don't know, do you guys want me to do one stove at a time, or do you want me to do a mass of stoves? People are telling me to keep going, so we'll keep going. So what would you guys like? Would you guys like me to do a stove at a time, or would you like me to do a mass of stoves? Because when it comes to these stoves, I have every one of them in the collection, and so on with firebox. I don't have all the solo stoves, but and they get quiet on me. And they get quiet on me. So what we'll do is, I think what we'll do is we'll go and we'll just do one stove at a time. That way each stove can kind of get a little bit of light shown on it, and we will. There you go. That's right. That's right. Devil's in the details. So what we'll do is, the people from Stoveaholics, the Stoveaholics have spoken. I don't like to do comparisons, because I think when you do a comparison, if a person's doing a comparison, here's the thing. You're going to sway one way or the other depending on what you're using. Like, if I'm using a D-Power stove and I'm using my jet boil, they're good for different options, they're good for different environments, they're good for different situations. And I think that one person would plan on I'm reading and talking. I think you'd sway one way or the other, and I don't want to do a stove comparison. But what I will do is I will talk about each stove, and I will give you an honest opinion of the highlights of the stoves, my favorite parts of the stoves, likes and dislikes, because let's face it, there's something about every one of my stoves that I might not think is perfect, and there's stuff about every one of my stoves that I love, and that's why I continue to have a very large collection of stoves. Do I ever plan on having guests on my show? Yeah, sure, why not? You might want to come to Iowa? Come on over. It might be kind of odd to do a live feed video with a little picture-in-picture box and then try to do that up here. But, guys, yeah, I think that I might end up taking it outside of my, as Raphael called it, my bunker. But this room is actually really long. Stove makers or sucks. Or such. Yeah, stove makers or such. So I have, this whole room is full of gear, and yeah, so I might end up taking some of it out to, hey Tim, how's it going? I might end up taking that out to the TP for the next video. I don't know, it just kind of depends on the weather too. Today it's raining extremely bad, so be careful. Oh, Chris, you could be. You're in Lincoln, right? Well, Chris, maybe you should join me on the show then. He's only an hour away. We can bring a stove and we can do some talking. But anyway, guys, yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll break it up. We'll do one stove at a time, and I won't stick with a specific brand every time. So maybe I'll do Bushcraft Essentials this next week, and then I'll do give you that non-base comparison. Remember, not every stove is perfect or perfect you intend to. So there's good. Yeah, there is good. There's good and bad in every one of the stoves. So I'll do the large stoves from the companies, and then I'll start with their small stoves. I think that's pretty good because I have a couple. I'm like, a lot of people know about the TAC 180 stove, but a lot of people don't know about the TAC 180, the flame. So that's another, that's another cool thing that I was actually talking about. You bring your stoves, a sleeping bag, and a tent. Deal. So it looks like I'll have a guest. Chris will be one of my guests one day. Chris, you can wait till it gets warm if you want to, or we can do it out in the sticks. That's cool. I got a phone. I got my camera. No big deal. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it for Stove Talks Part 2 tonight. Next week, we will be talking about the Bushcraft Essentials Bushbox XL, stainless steel and titanium. That's completely a preference for people, and maybe we'll do a boil test, So, I don't know. We'll see. But all right, everyone. So thanks for joining me tonight, and we will definitely see you guys next week on another episode of Stove Talks. Take care.